And last but certainly not least, we have our weirdest but most favorite secondary source, the Humble American Law Report. Weird? What makes it so weird? Well, if you don't already know, then please go and read your legal research textbook. But in quick summary, an ALR is a secondary source that is a stellar finding tool. We'll get to that in a second. Ready? Finding an ALR is much like finding other secondary sources. As always, you have a few options. You'll first want to start off by navigating directly to them by choosing secondary materials in Lexis or secondary sources in Westlaw. Then choose American Law Reports. From there, you have a couple choices. In Lexis, you will be given an advanced search page where you can run a search. In Westlaw, you'll be able to narrow by broad topic before you run a search, or you can browse through the ALR index. In both databases, you have the option to run a search from the get-go. Now that you've used your wily ways to find an ALR, what do you do with it? An ALR can be hundreds of pages long, so it's helpful to know how to navigate them quickly. You will do that through the use of the finding tools you've been given, namely an article outline, a topical index, a table of cases sorted jurisdictionally, and other research references. Before we go and take a look at these, let me give you one last reminder. You will not need to run a CRAP test on an ALR annotation. But why not again? Because you will not be citing to an ALR. They are a finding tool for cases only, a jump start to your research, if you will. They are just straight up information. Got it? No crap, no citing. All right, let's go take a look at these weirdos. ALRs are technically a Thomson Reuters product, but Lexis licenses them, so you can find them on either database. We will start with Westlaw. In Westlaw, you can either start typing in American Law Reports, or even just ALR, and you can get right there. You can also go to Secondary Sources, and then American Law Reports. You'll see once you're there, you can narrow down to a specific topic area, or on the right you will find the ALR index. At this point, you could also run a search. Let's take a quick look at the index. As you can see, these are arranged topically. Let's say we were looking for the topic of adoption. I find a broad topic, adoption of children, and within that, many ALRs much more specific on the topic of adoption. Hopefully one of these will be useful to us. Without the index though, we can always run a search if we're not finding what we're looking for. We saw in the index that there was an ALR on adult adoption. I'm going to try running a search for that. Yep, there is one on an adoption of adult. But look, there's also a lot of ALRs that I might want to pay attention to as they're very specific. Let's use that first one as an example of how you use an ALR. There's a couple of things you should notice right off the bat. First, this was originally published in 1968. That makes it seem like it might be useless, but you would be wrong. The ALR database is constantly updated, and unless it has been superseded by another ALR, then it is still kept current. Speaking of superseding, you'll notice there is a yellow flag here telling us that part of this ALR has been superseded by another ALR. As long as the information we want is not in one of those sections, we're still good. On the left, you can narrow by jurisdiction, and it will show you any cases in the annotation that are from that jurisdiction. But don't fret if there isn't any authority where you are looking. The information in this ALR is still useful to your research. Next, we have the table of contents. This shows you the different parts of the ALR so you can navigate quickly. That includes the article outline, the index, a table of cases, and the research references. Let's take a look at each of these. The article outline will tell us the topics covered. An ALR gets its outline from the holdings in cases, so you'll see instances where they are showing you cases where an adoption is permitted, but also cases where adoption has not been permitted. Pretty cool, huh? It's worth taking a look through the outline to see the section so you know right away whether or not this is relevant to you. Next, we'll want to take a look at the index. The index breaks this outline down by topic. And once you find a topic, it'll tell you where in the article and what section it is located. If we go back to the top, We'll want to take a look at the table of cases. This shows you each case listed in this annotation by jurisdiction and in which part of the outline it belongs to. Is this every case on this topic? Absolutely not, but it's seriously a great place to start. Next, you have the annotation itself and information from the case holdings. The editors of the ALR try to give you a good idea of what the different jurisdictions have said on these very specific topics. Remember, ALRs can be hundreds of pages long, so get used to that back to the top button. Lastly, we have our research references. These will give you references to other ALRs you might want to take a look at, and links to other secondary sources that might be of use to you, like legal encyclopedias and even forms. That's an ALR. Let's go see what it looks like on Lexis. As already mentioned, Lexis licenses the ALRs from Thomson Reuters, so you get a little less of the bells and whistles. You can still find ALRs in a similar way by either typing in ALR or American Law Reports, or going to Secondary Materials, and then American Law Reports. You'll notice that the ALR index is not available in Lexis, and so you will need to run a search. No problem, let's do that. We will go find the same ALR we found in Westlaw and search adult adoption. Aha, there it is. You'll see the information here is the same as it was on Westlaw, just in a different order, with the jurisdictional table of cases, index, research references, and article outline. One last thing you should be aware of is that there is no flag on this ALR that lets us know parts have been superseded. Just something to look out for, but the information is still all there. All right, one more time with feeling. Let's open up Westlaw and do some practice.